Hi, and welcome to the Feel Better Today podcast. As we go through today, this is going to be our first lesson for DBT and recovery. So thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to start our background music. Start moving your thoughts inwards. Think about how positive you would like to be today. Thank you again for joining me in this moment. You know, if you want to transform your life and turn your dreams into a reality, it goes without saying that you need to develop the right foundation, a strong and firm foundation first. Even a skyscraper requires foundations from which it can tower into the sky, and I want you to create the strongest foundations that are possible on which to build your life. And that's why I created the Feel Better Today podcast. Now, this is the first lesson in our Feel Better Today DBT and recovery series. In between each of these lessons, the focus is going to be heavy on DBT skills and how to use them. Today is more of an introduction to what DBT skills are and how we can fuse them with the 12 steps and a recovery plan. Also, some of you may have never started a 12-step recovery plan, so I'm going to introduce you to the 12 steps as originated through Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's dive right in. And where do we start? As always, in the beginning. Let's dive right into the DBT skills and you. The DBT skills are a set of tools that we can learn and use in our everyday life. Originally created by Marsha Linehan, I highly recommend her book, the DBT Skills Training Manual. It is the formal presentation of all of these skills. Although they were originally created to help people with borderline personality disorder, they're now being broadly accepted as very useful and helpful for a wide variety of individuals seeking to manage their emotions, relationships, and navigate through crisis, even just everyday life. Just hearing that, you can hear how well they would go with the recovery program, right? Seeking to manage emotions, relationships, and navigate through crisis. Yeah. The Mindfulness Module, the first module, is a foundation for all of the DBT skills. Now, just like I had mentioned that I want to build a strong foundation to build the rest of your life upon, the Mindfulness Module can be that foundation of the DBT skills. It's important enough that we'll return to the mindfulness skills briefly in between each module. Now, these skills give us a solid foundation in recognizing our emotions, body sensations, and the thoughts or judgments which try to distract us. These skills include states of mind, the what skills, and the how skills. Distress tolerance skills are for crisis survival, skills that can help us navigate difficult moments, confrontation, conflict of personalities, impulsiveness, or overwhelm. These are skills to help you cope with tough moments, to tolerate distress, thus the name distress tolerance. They include wise mind accepts, self-soothe, improve the moment, tip, pros and cons, reality acceptance, radical acceptance, and willingness versus willfulness. I know that seems like a lot, but like I said, today I'm just introducing you to what these skills are going to be. Over time, we'll dive more into depth with each one and you'll remember what they are. Emotion regulation skills are focused on helping us manage strong emotions. After learning how to identify and describe our emotions, these skills can help us keep our cool. These skills include checking the facts, opposite action, problem solving, ABC please, and the wave skill. The last module, interpersonal effectiveness skills, will help us relate to people around us. Strangers, authority figures, friends, and family. Some of these skills may seem obvious, others may seem new or out of your comfort zone. These skills may help you say no when you need to and keep the healthy relationship, or say yes with negotiation so that you can also get what you want. They include goal setting, dear man, give, fast, and evaluating your options. So the next portion that I'm going to talk about is the 12 steps and you. So I want you to think about what type of target behavior you would work on with the dialectical behavior therapy skills. A target behavior is either something that you want to increase or something you want to decrease. Now, for those of you in the 12 steps and that are beginning the 12 steps, you're probably going to be most interested in behaviors you'd like to decrease. Now, the story of the 12 steps starts in 1934 when a successful Wall Street businessman met with his friend to change their lives. In this introduction to the 12 steps, we'll cover why and how they began, finding a method and language that works for you, and discovering your own why, that it may be your time to start a 12-step journey using DBT skills to help you on your journey to sobriety and maintaining each moment as you progress into the future. The term Friends of Bill is a polite way to announce that you are working a program of sobriety. At some point you may hear, "Oh, you're a friend of Bill?" which is like coded language for how someone might ask if you're working a recovery program. So who is this Bill guy and why would he want to be my friend? Well, Bill W. wrote a book known as Alcoholics Anonymous, the story of how more than 100 men have recovered from alcoholism. But for short, many simply call it the Big Book. You can find a free copy online by searching AA Big Book online. Here's a paraphrase of the story as Bill, which will follow. It's a paraphrase of the story of Bill as it is from Wikipedia. Just before I start that, I want to say that in 1929, there was the Great Depression, right? And during the Great Depression, as it says in the name, many people were depressed. It's not just about the financial crisis, but it's about food shortages. It's about homelessness and people feeling a sense of desperation. And during that time, alcoholism started to go a little crazy, right? We had just been through the periods of no alcohol being available, and so it was underground. People were having to hide it and sneak it. And then the Great Depression started, and people started to drink even more, if they could afford to get a drink. Or they even got it bootlegged, made out in the woods somewhere. Well, in 1934, Bill was invited by his friend and drinking buddy, Ebby T., to join the Oxford Group, a spiritual movement based on the 4 absolutes of honesty, purity, unselfishness, and love. Bill W. met Dr. Bob in May of 1935, and the men shared their stories with one another. The two began to work on how to best approach alcoholics and begin to try and help men recover from alcoholism. I'm saying men because that's how it started. Later on, it started to include women and cross the gender gap, right? So they began working on how to help people recover from alcoholism. The idea for the book developed when Bill W. and Dr. Bob realized their system had helped over 40 men stay sober for more than 2 years. The book was meant to carry their message far and wide. Wilson started writing the book in 1938, and it was later published in 1939. And as I had said earlier, you can find a free copy of it online right now by searching AA Big Book online. I'd encourage you to do that. Now, let's cover what the 12 steps really are. In this section, I'm briefly going to cover how they've been adapted for addiction to various substances or behaviors and learning how to adapt them to your own circumstance. So, whether you're seeking change due to alcohol, drugs, nicotine, caffeine, overeating, gambling, sex addiction, shopping, or hoarding, there's many number of ways to adapt the 12-step structure, combined with the DBT skills that can help you immensely while you work to make lasting change in yourself. For now, as this is just an introduction, please consider these adaptations. I've put them into a special order and it becomes an acronym, which is a series of letters that spell a memorable word but represent a series of ideas. So as we introduce you to this, I want you to think of the word ascend, A-S-C-E-N-D. The A stands for accountability to a higher power. Think of who you feel accountable to. For some, this is God. Others use the term higher power. Some people think of it as being the group, like your local AA group if you go to a meeting, or any type of recovery group if you're working on one of those other target behaviors. An accountability partner, a specific person, or the universe, just in general. We can work on finding your own accountability in one of our future lessons. Next, the S for safety and sobriety. Are you willing to strive for sobriety, which is abstinence, or is safety or harm reduction your main concern? Be thinking about that. C for commitment. Will you make a commitment to work your program? Nothing will work unless you absolutely make a commitment to do it. But coming and watching this video is a really good first step. E for encouragement. It's essential for success. And this often comes from the peer support groups like AA meetings or sober friends. Who will be your encouragement team? Who will you be willing to talk to on a weekly basis and check in as an encouragement team for yourself? Be thinking about that. The N is for your needs. As you let go of substances and behaviors that you are using to self-medicate your emotions, it is essential that your basic needs continue to be met. Food, clothing, shelter, safety, sleep. Create your own set structure for yourself, whether that be your 3 meals a day or it's 3 meals a day plus snacks in between, what time you get up, what time you go to sleep, and making sure that you have a safe place to be each and every day. Now, as you become ready to ascend, which the D is for develop your skills by practicing every day. Start today by reading, viewing this video, participating in your new self-improvement program. As you become ready to ascend on your journey, these foundations will help you every day. Accountability, safety and sobriety, commitment, encouragement from others, making sure your needs are met, and develop these skills by practicing. Now, we'll list all the 12 steps in our next lesson, so Don't worry about having all of those memorized today. You made it this far through the introduction of the 12 steps and you. Take a moment to contemplate, deciding it is time to start now. Over the next few moments, you'll see several symptoms of problems appear. Can you relate? By the time these symptoms show up, the problem is already serious. Will you come back to continue this journey? Make a commitment today. Trouble sleeping. The doctor tells you to quit. Promise to stop, but you can't. You can't get up in the morning. Day drinking. Change in appearance. You forget things because you were drunk. You have blackouts, large moments of time where you can't remember, but you were still conscious enough to go through the emotions. And often that in a blackout is when you do things that might be embarrassing to you later. Getting a bad reputation from doing some of those embarrassing things. Feeling like you need a drink. Perhaps it's a tough day and you just feel like, I can't make it through. I can't wait to get home and have a drink. Getting a DUI, definitely an indication and a symptom of a problem. Money problems from the habit. Perhaps it was gambling away all the money. Perhaps it was spending your last dollar on that bottle. Yeah, all of those things can indicate your symptoms that there might be an issue. Contemplate starting your journey today. The DBT skills are a great set of tools to help you build a life worth living. If you feel the 12 steps may help you, they make a wonderful companion to the DBT skills. Remember, every problem you're faced with can be handled by the choices you make. Let's talk about 4 ways that you could think about whenever you're confronted with a problem. 1, you can solve the problem. 2, you can feel better about the problem. Perhaps you can't change it, but you can feel better about it. 3, you tolerate the problem, accept and tolerate both the problem and your response. So 1, 2, and 3 all involve feeling better. 4, stay miserable. You don't need any help to stay miserable, right? I'm hoping that together we can work on feeling better today using method 1, 2, or 3. So join me next time. I look forward to having you along for the journey.